The night drapes its velvet over the city, and the hum of distant traffic becomes a low, almost inaudible pulse that syncs with the beating of your own heart. You walk down a dimly lit street, the streetlights flickering like distant fireflies trapped in amber. In that moment, the world feels both immense and intimate, as if the universe is holding its breath, waiting for something you cannot yet name. Do you ever feel that the pull of the forbidden is stronger than the call of safety? Have you ever wondered why the stories we tell ourselves about love always have a shadow, a secret, a risk? In the quiet corners of our minds, there's a door that many of us have never dared to open. Behind that door lies a truth that is as old as myth and as fresh as a newborn heartbeat. It is a truth that has been whispered across generations, carried by lovers who risked everything for a single moment of connection. It is a truth that the subconscious craves, even when the conscious mind insists on caution. Imagine a place where desire and dread dance in a delicate, forbidden waltz, where the heart's longing is amplified by the thrill of the unknown. How many times have you felt that the more you resist, the more you are drawn toward the very thing you fear? You might recall the first time you met someone who made your pulse quicken in a way that felt almost supernatural. It wasn't just their smile or their laugh. It was the way their eyes seemed to hold a secret that you were compelled to uncover. That instant, you felt a surge of adrenaline that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Who is it that compels us to chase that forbidden flame? Is it merely a biological impulse? Or is there a deeper, unseen force that guides us toward the edges of our own limits? Consider the stories that have shaped our culture, tales of star-crossed lovers, of forbidden romances that defy social norms, of lovers who defy the very laws that bind them. These narratives have woven themselves into the fabric of our collective psyche. They speak to a longing that is not just for another person, but for a sense of being seen, of being known in a way that feels almost otherworldly. Have you ever wondered why the most compelling love stories are those that risk everything for the sake of a single, transformative encounter? There is a darkness that lingers at the edges of every desire, a subtle whisper that tells us that the greatest rewards lie beyond the threshold of what is considered safe. In the shadows of that darkness, a question lingers. What if the forbidden is not a barrier, but a doorway? What if the very act of daring to love against the odds is a form of liberation, a rebellion against the ordinary? When we step into that space, we encounter a paradox. The more we are tempted, the more we are drawn into the unknown, and yet the unknown holds a promise of a deeper, more authentic connection. So, as the city lights flicker and the night deepens, imagine yourself standing on the precipice of an unseen realm. You feel the weight of the world's expectations pressing against you. Yet beneath that pressure is a magnetic force pulling you towards something forbidden, something that feels both dangerous and irresistible. You cannot help but ask yourself, what is it about forbidden love that captures our imagination, our hearts, and our souls? What hidden truth is it trying to reveal, and why do we feel compelled to uncover it, even if it means risking everything? Tonight, we will walk together along that shadowed path, exploring the hidden currents that drive our desire for the forbidden. We will peer into the abyss of the unconscious, where archetypes and hidden energies mingle, and where the most profound truths about ourselves are waiting to be uncovered. But first, let us pause and breathe, and let the mystery unfold in the silence between our thoughts. The journey begins now, in the quiet, in the darkness, and in the heart that beats with the promise of forbidden love. The first time you feel that magnetic tug toward a love that feels illicit, your mind is already dancing on the edge of the threshold. Imagine, for a moment, that threshold as a portal carved into a stone wall, its surface slick with the dew of curiosity. The portal does not simply open. It hums, a low vibration that resonates with the rhythm of your own pulse. Have you ever felt that humming as you stand at the cusp of a new relationship, as if the universe itself is whispering a secret? This hum is not random. It is the language of archetypal currents swirling beneath the surface of everyday life. Jungian thought invites us to consider the anima and animus as twin forces that stir when we encounter the forbidden. The anima, the feminine aspect within a man, or the animus, the masculine within a woman, are not merely symbolic. They are living energies that call for recognition. When these energies awaken, they can ignite a flame that feels both dangerous and divine. Picture a candle held too close to a flame, its wax melting, its light flickering. The very act of holding it too close mirrors how we often push our desires beyond safe boundaries, only to find that the danger itself is part of what makes the experience so vivid. Yet the forbidden does more than stir the anima and animus. It engages the trickster archetype. The trickster thrives on paradox, on breaking rules to reveal hidden truths. In the realm of love, this trickster whispers, "What if the rules you obey are merely mirrors reflecting your own fears?" The forbidden, then, becomes a mirror that forces you to look beyond your comfort zone, to confront the parts of yourself that have been kept in shadow. Consider the story of a young woman who fell for a charismatic stranger who promised her a life of adventure. She stepped into his orbit, only to find that his promises were riddled with deception. Yet, even after the betrayal, she could not shake the sense of exhilaration that lingered. That exhilaration was not a sign of weakness. It was the trickster's invitation to understand the deeper layers of her own yearning. From the perspective of synchronicity, the forbidden often appears as a series of meaningful coincidences that seem to orchestrate a path towards self-discovery. Think of a chance encounter with a stranger who shares a secret you have been carrying. The encounter feels like a cosmic cue, a reminder that the universe is nudging you toward a truth you have been reluctant to face. When you allow yourself to follow these synchronicities, you begin to see patterns that connect your personal narrative to a larger, almost mythic tapestry. The forbidden, then, is not merely a temptation, but a doorway to a larger story, a story that invites you to become the protagonist of your own myth. The danger of forbidden love lies not only in the external consequences, but in the internal upheaval it causes. The ego, which prides itself on control, is confronted with a reality that defies logic. In that space, the ego dissolves, and the true self can emerge, unfiltered and unguarded. Imagine a storm that rattles the windows of a house, shaking the furniture, yet ultimately clearing the dust from the corners. The storm's fury is necessary for the house to breathe again. Similarly, the turbulence of forbidden love can cleanse old patterns, making room for a more authentic connection. Now, consider how this applies when you face the temptation to dive headfirst into a relationship that feels like a siren song. Instead of retreating, ask yourself, are you drawn because the relationship offers a new way to see yourself, or because it satisfies a fear of being ordinary? The answer may reveal a hidden desire for transformation. When you recognize this, you can choose to step into the unknown with intention, rather than with blind curiosity. In doing so, you harness the power of the forbidden to become a catalyst for growth. Finally, remember that the forbidden is a paradoxical teacher. It demands that you confront the parts of yourself that you would otherwise leave unexplored. In that confrontation, you find the courage to rewrite the narrative of your own life. The forbidden does not merely test your resolve. It expands it, inviting you to become the architect of a love that is both daring and deeply rooted in truth. The journey, though perilous, is also profoundly transformative. As the tapestry of insight unfurls, threads that once seemed disparate begin to coalesce into a single, resonant pattern. The pull of the unknown, the quiet rebellion of the trickster, and the subtle hum of archetypal forces all weave together like a river that gathers tributaries from distant valleys, each contributing its own unique current to a larger, more powerful flow. In this convergence, the forbidden becomes less of an isolated temptation and more of a natural part of the landscape of longing, an invitation to step beyond the familiar shoreline into waters that shimmer with possibility. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind carrying whispers of distant horizons. The wind does not simply blow. It carries with it the scent of wildflowers, the echo of ancient drums, and the promise of unseen vistas. In that moment, the air itself seems charged, as if the universe has pressed a breath of anticipation into every molecule. You feel the weight of the world's expectations, yet the pull toward the abyss is irresistible, a call that resonates with the deepest chords of your being. It is this resonant hum that threads through every layer of our exploration, drawing us toward a space where fear and desire dance in a delicate, almost sacred choreography. The journey we've traversed feels akin to navigating a labyrinth whose walls are lined with mirrors, each reflection a fragment of a larger self. Every turn offers a new perspective, a new facet of the self that has long been hidden in shadow. When you turn the corner, you encounter a light that does not simply illuminate but transforms the very texture of the corridor, revealing hidden pathways that were previously invisible. This illumination is not a revelation in the conventional sense. It is a transformation of perception, a shift that allows the hidden energies to surface in a way that feels both intimate and expansive. In this moment of transition, the boundaries between the conscious and the unconscious begin to blur. The conscious mind, which once guarded against the unknown, now finds itself drawn into the same currents that have long flowed beneath its surface. It is as if the river that once ran quietly beside the shore has now surged through the heart, carrying with it the salt of the sea and the promise of distant lands. The trickster's mischievous grin, once a distant echo, now stands beside you, reminding you that the path ahead is not one of simple linear progression, but of intricate, spiraling motion. The anima and animus, the animus and anima, no longer sit in separate chambers, but dance together in a shared rhythm, their steps echoing the pulse of the universe. Reflecting on this journey so far, you may find yourself standing at a crossroads where the familiar road and the uncharted path intersect. The familiar road offers safety and certainty, while the uncharted path beckons with the allure of mystery and growth. The tension between these two roads is not a conflict, but a symphony, each note harmonizing with the other to create a richer, more complex composition. It is here, at this intersection, that the true nature of the forbidden is revealed, not as a simple act of rebellion, but as a profound, transformative act of aligning with the deeper currents that pulse within us all. The anticipation that builds in this space is not a question of what will come, but of what you will become as you step forward. The path ahead is neither a single straight line nor a predictable journey. It is an evolving tapestry, each thread adding depth, texture, and meaning. As you prepare to cross the threshold, you carry with you the quiet strength of the trickster, the guidance of the archetypal forces, and the resonance of the unseen currents. The next chapter of this narrative is poised to unfold, inviting you to move beyond the mere contemplation of the forbidden and into a living, breathing experience that honors both the shadows and the light. The quiet after the storm settles, leaving the world hushed and still, is the moment when the hidden currents finally reveal their true nature. In that silence, the forbidden love that once seemed like a dangerous temptation now feels like a compass pointing toward the most profound truths of the self. It is not a rebellion against society or a mere thrill. It is an invitation to step into the shadow and discover the light that lives there. The act of daring to love beyond the boundaries of comfort is, in truth, a ritual of integration, an ancient rite where the heart meets its own darkness and, in doing so, finds a fuller, more authentic resonance. When we allow ourselves to feel the ache of longing for the forbidden, we open a doorway to the archetypal realms that govern our deepest drives. The anima, animus, and trickster are not distant myths. They're living forces that pulse within us, urging us to reconcile the fragments of our psyche that have been kept hidden in the corners of our minds. The forbidden becomes a mirror, reflecting back the parts of us that we have feared to acknowledge. It is in this reflection that the most transformative love is forged, not because it is safe, but because it forces us to confront the shadows that have long lived in silence. In confronting these shadows, we do not merely escape the darkness. We learn to dance with it, to let it illuminate the path toward wholeness. Synchronicity, that subtle dance of meaning and chance, often appears as a gentle nudge when we stand on the precipice of a forbidden love. Each coincidence, each unexpected encounter, is not random, but a signal that we are on the cusp of a deeper alignment. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, offers these moments as invitations to step beyond the familiar, to trust that the unknown holds a promise that the known cannot. By embracing the unknown, we align ourselves with the flow of life, allowing the currents of destiny to guide us toward places of growth that would otherwise remain inaccessible. The true power of the forbidden love lies not in the act itself, but in the transformation it sparks within us. When we let go of the illusion that safety equates to fulfillment, we free ourselves from the chains of expectation and open a space where authentic connection can flourish. In that space, vulnerability becomes a strength, and the fear of judgment dissolves into a quiet confidence that comes from knowing we have faced our own shadows. The forbidden, therefore, is not a destination but a catalyst, a spark that ignites the fire of self-discovery, urging us to explore the depths of our own heart. As you walk forward from this moment, carry with you the awareness that the forbidden is a mirror and a bridge. It reflects the parts of you that have been hidden, yet it also connects you to a wider tapestry of human experience, a shared language of longing and courage that transcends time. Let this understanding guide your steps, not as a warning, but as a compass that points toward deeper intimacy, not just with others, but with yourself. Remember that every time you choose to explore the forbidden, you're choosing to honor the complexity of your own humanity, to recognize that the most profound love is born from the willingness to meet the darkness with open eyes. The true practice begins now, in the quiet between your thoughts, when the world is still enough for you to hear the pulse of your own heart. It is an ongoing invitation to listen, to feel, and to trust the unseen currents that flow beneath the surface. In each moment of daring, you are not just chasing a forbidden flame. You are lighting a lantern that will guide you through the shadows and into the light. Let this lantern burn bright, and let it remind you that the greatest love, one that transcends the ordinary, thrives in the space where courage meets mystery.